You're listening to the Intimacy Uncovered podcast, where we discuss intimacy, romance, foreplay, and sex-positive topics with your hosts, Ryan Whitfield and Lex Harris.
And welcome to the Intimacy Uncovered podcast show. I'm Ryan.
I'm Lex.
Welcome to the show.
Welcome, guys.
This show is a show that we talk about everything under the sun.
Under the sun, yeah.
Under the sun, which includes
under the bed.
which includes intimacy, dating, romance, sex, foreplay, everything that you would think that comes under that umbrella. So, Lex, today we are recording and shoot. We're live.
Yes, we are. We're live. What do we think we are? Ryan?
I know. Listen,
we out here recording live stuff.
Yeah, we moving on.
So with live comes with all the background noises and effects too, right?
Yes. So bear with us if you hear some dogs barking, or you hear some strange noises.
Yes,
is we live. So, but one of the things I want to kind of jump in and just really put out
Ryan,
there.
We also forgot to tell them where they can watch this.
Oh, you know what? Before I even start spilling my thoughts, go to the Intimacy Uncover Facebook page, and you'll see a link, or you'll see the post at the top of the page that says a live podcast broadcast. So tune in.
Definitely tune in.
Make
Check
sure you give comments, feedback. We always like
feedback.
Clicks, the like button, share it to anyone you feel that may need it. Don't just be a silent supporter.
That's all right.
Those are not needed. Be a participant.
That's right.
Because I know the conversation and things that we're talking about relates to you.
Absolutely. Because we keep it real, raw, and relatable.
So, what's on my mind is this.
Yeah, speak your mind.
I always like to speak my mind before we even get the show started. What's on my mind is this. A lot of people want these deep connections, these deep, intimate connections with a relationship, but I realize that they're not willing to be vulnerable to get them.
Wow, that is so true, Ryan. Too often it happens, right?
Too often. It's like, we want to keep these surface-driven type of relationships going.
And it don't work that way.
It don't work that way.
It doesn't work that way.
It does not work that way.
You got to give a little to give a little. To get a little, rather, right?
But this is my jewel of the day.
Okay.
I realize that we all have insecurities.
Right?
Mm-hmm. And for me to be able to be vulnerable with you, that means that I have to be able to place my insecurities with you to be able to protect and lock up those insecurities. And I'm going to do the same for yours. And a lot of times it's always one person that's willing to be vulnerable, but the other person's kind of afraid.
That is so true. And what makes these people or person afraid, it has a lot to do sometimes with past experiences, right, Ryan?
That's true. And the one thing I will say is this. One relationship that went wrong or went astray or didn't work out a certain way does not mean that that's going to happen for every relationship you go in.
That's right. And you know what? Sometimes too, if we get caught in a cycle of 2 repeated occurrences, we're like, oh no, hell no, this is going to happen a third time.
We think every relationship is going to be the same thing.
We tend to do that.
Yeah, but that's not the case.
Not the case at all.
The things that I like to understand about all my relationships that I've been in is this. I want to know, or I'd like to look at it and say, the good moments that I learned and the things that are red flags.
I like that approach.
It's very simple.
It's a very simple approach.
The
it's
great moments, and the reason why I say that is that when you move from one relationship to the next, you don't really want to refer to that relationship or speak about that relationship, but you can speak about the great things that you learn from it.
That's so true. You absolutely can. And you know what, too? It's good to have that pause in between relationships to do those things. Because if you try to jump from one to the next, because that's something we tend to do, too. We think, oh, I need somebody to help me get my mind off such and such. Doesn't work that way. Got to take that pause first to regroup.
I agree.
Yeah.
But it's 2 things. One is I think that person needs to get out and get over things, like meet people.
Absolutely,
meet people.
Yeah,
but don't get into a relationship. You know
that's 2 different things. I don't want people to confuse that.
Yeah, one is getting out and meeting people and mingling and kind of
enjoying your life.
Exactly, moving
by yourself.
You know what? It's almost like it's like you're recalling yourself back to the front.
Right.
Because normally when you're in a relationship, you should be catering to this person's need. Now you're putting your needs back up to the front.
You are putting your needs back up to the front. Yeah, and you're right, because you try to mesh with this other person. Now you're unmeshing.
Yeah.
You're unmeshing.
So when it comes to the relationship, and moving forward into another one. I feel like we have to heal.
Absolutely.
And I think sometimes when the term is thrown out, emotionally available, it's a term that's thrown out there, but what does it really mean, right?
Emotionally available,
yes. And just in my opinion and my experiences, I will say that I would try to make sure that I'm 100%, because a lot of times we get out of we don't. No one likes to feel pain,
right? And
no one wants to think about that other person. But I think that's kind of like the process of getting over it, to get it out your system, to go through that pain, that process.
You do. It's a purging process, and it's necessary to go through each emotion and not try to suppress anything. And sometimes that's what ends up happening. We try to suppress it.
I'm not gonna lie. I will tell you, before I had a little bit of wisdom, I'm coming clean. Before I had just a slight bit of wisdom, right, something, I was going from one and hurry up and get to the next.
On to another one. I think it's easy to do though. You know what I mean?
But I was not. You know what? When I got to the next one, I was not able to give that next person all of me.
All of Ryan.
I was not able to give all of Ryan. They were getting like 50-50. 50-50.
No, they need all of Ryan, and you're right. So that healing component, I'm so glad you mentioned that, because that is a major key.
Well, listen, this is how we start our shows. So listen, sometimes it goes for a minute, and sometimes we go and we can go for 5 or 6 minutes. So I hope you guys kind of are warmed up, because I am. So
I know you warmed up because you are ready.
I'm pumped. I know
hear this lineup.
Yes, this lineup. What's the lineup we got?
All right, so we have a story from Aimee from Atlanta, who's written in about Finding Nemo.
Okay, that sounds interesting. This is not about the cartoon or the animation movie, right?
I don't think so. It's we gonna yeah. I read it. It really wasn't, but I love the title.
Just checking.
Actually. And then we got the hot topic. Okay. I mean, super hot.
I'm here for that. I'm ready.
And that is the single sex versus couple sex.
I got a lot of stuff that I want to share.
I'm sure you do.
I got some stuff I want to let out.
I'm sure you do.
I'm just saying.
And then we'll wind that on down, all that excitement, with pillow talk.
I'm excited. So listen, we want you guys to stick around. Enjoy the rest of the show. We'll be right back.
That's right. All right, Ryan. So I've heard that, a little birdie told me you're kind of like an expert on the single sex component.
Well, I have insight. I mean, I've dabbled a little bit.
Little dabble here and there. You know what I'm saying?
I've dabbled on both sides.
Put you out there, you know what I'm saying? But I think that's why you have so much insight about this intimacy topic.
That may be true.
That might be true.
So, all right. So let's dive into this single sex versus couple sex.
Yes, please, because you're so eager. So let's go. You lead it off, sir.
I'm leading it off. All right. So here's my thing. Single sex has to be some of the most raw, passionate sex, because what happens is you don't know this person.
Okay.
And for guys, I feel like it's a thrill.
Okay, so let me back you up just 2 steps.
Right,
okay,
two
with
steps.
The whole single sex.
Okay.
So you don't know this person?
Well, I'm saying I don't know them deeply.
Let's clear that up.
I don't know them as deeply as I may want to, meaning that a guy is willing to take the sex on day 1. We're willing to go first date.
Right. Okay.
And if I know you first date, that means I really don't know you. And there's an excitement that comes along with that. That is
so true. Y'all are willing to go.
It's an excitement. You know what? It's up with that. You know what it is? It's one of those things where it's an attraction. It's a lust. Like, we become like so asphyxiated with the physical that we may lose sight.
Lose your mind.
We lose our damn mind.
It's just like, hey, she's beautiful.
She's beautiful. She's sexy. She has everything. I need to get with her. Seriously, I need to get with her. I need to lay her down.
Wow. That's always been amazing to me, Ryan. So thank you for being honest about that one.
I'm just telling you how we are. I mean, it's one of those
visual
things
creatures.
Yeah, visual creatures. Once we get going, it's like, I gotta have it. And it's one of those things that I think that if, from a single sex or a single guy standpoint, for the most part, it's conquer as much as you want. That's what it's conquered. It's like you have a goal. I want to conquer these women.
Conquer as many as possible.
It conquers me. I felt like that in my early 20s. I felt like that from early 20s. Honestly. Okay. I was there. And then I guess once you get into your 30s, you start like saying, I want quality over quantity.
Okay, so in your 20s, you kind of just like
conquer what you can.
Where the women at?
Where the women at?
In your 30s, you more like, I need a little.
Yeah,
I need wifey now. I can see me with a wifey.
Yeah, you start thinking like, all right, where's this going? Because once again, I'm gonna tell you what it is. You start looking for a connection.
You think in your 30s you start looking for a connection?
I really started early in my 20s, but you kind of don't know what it is. It's like you know what you ignore the shit. That's what it is. I ignored it. So I felt it, but I ignored it.
You felt it because you felt like I should be having more women, right? Because that's what society make you feel like? Or,
you know, it
or
wasn't
your other bros or whoever?
No, it wasn't necessarily that. For me, let me say this. So I had an interest in dating women that might have been out of state too. I was big on that. I don't know why. I was big on meeting women that might not have lived in my area.
Okay, what's that to do with?
I'm telling you why. Okay. Because what happens is I would have women in different areas.
Oh, you had pros.
Well, you can call it. You can call it whatever you want. What I'm saying is that, right. I was into that. So what happens is it feels like at some point you're like, all right, this is getting old. Where's this going?
Right, because you're like, okay, she's not close. Like, what am I doing? That's what you end up saying.
No, I mean, you just look at it like, all right, I feel like I got to do too much to have this situation. It was easy because, like, if you're single,
right,
in my local area, I'm not even paying attention to it, like what's going on. But when I want to be that type of person, or I want to have interest in that person, I just travel to where they at, have a good time,
and so that way it's difficult to no strings attached.
There's no strings attached.
Okay. See, bring it on home now.
Yeah, so that's what the single sex thing is about. There was no strings attached.
It was just like, okay, you know, I can kind of be in and out. There's no real questions being asked because they're not really here. They can't really pop up. They can't surveillance me.
Exactly.
Not that women do those things.
That was a benefit of having out-of-state people that were out-of-state. The females that was out-of-state. The other thing I was going to say is that circling back to being local, I think guys don't, if they don't know how to connect with somebody, they just keep repeating the same pattern.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's true. I think that I think it takes a certain level of being intentional, you know, to kind of want to connect with somebody. You know, that's what I truly believe, that you have to really have a desire. It doesn't just happen, you know, like, oh.
But what the whole thing is that we don't have like examples. The music, the imagery, the things, the videos that we see, the social media, it kind of depicts us to say, let's conquer these females. Let's be with this.
You're right. I mean, you already know media is like, it's more driven toward that, you know, sexual, because sex sells, number one. So that's why we wrote this book about intimacy, right? Because we're trying to make sure that we show you how to connect with somebody, and that it's an ongoing process, and that it never dies. But that's right. And we want to shed more light toward that, because sex is everywhere. Intimacy, not so much, right?
Yeah.
So I think that single sex has its advantages. As someone who's been on both ends of the spectrum here, I'm married now, thank God.
Shout out to your husband.
Shout out to him. But single sex gives you that like temporary thrill, and to me, I'm just gonna say it gives you like this temporary feeling of empowerment. Like, yeah, I'm in control of this. Yeah, I'm kind of like, you know, I got this. I'm choosing this person. You know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I've found, in all honesty, that if you're not careful, it can leave you feeling somewhat empty. You know, and I've kind of found that. You know what I mean? It's exciting. Don't get me wrong.
It's exciting. Let me ask you this, and this is from a male's perspective, right. And I'm really going raw on this.
Okay.
Right. What happens is when you have single sex, one word that comes to mind is integrity. Right? And I'm going to tell you why that comes to mind.
Okay.
Normally, there's an even playing field, right? When you do not have any when you don't have sex with a woman. When you don't have sex with a woman, there's an even playing field, right?
Okay.
She has the advantage.
Sure.
Once that sex comes up, the man has total advantage. Because now the woman has given herself to this guy. Now, there's two situations. Either she feels like, now that we've had sex, I want more. I'm thinking that we're going to be more than what we are. Or this guy just got lucky, and then she's dangling the carrot over his head to, you know, say, look, if you want more sex, you need to do what I want.
I was about to say, you know, Ryan, because there is something called the power of the PUSSY.
Yeah, I mean, but listen, that comes into play maybe about 3 out of 10 situations.
3 out of 10?
3 out of 10. 7 out of 10 is the reason why is because it's more women.
That is true.
So
that is true.
Yeah, so that kind of balance.
That is true. It's
really
supply and demand.
It's applying.
But you know, I do want to bring that out this point too. I want to ask you: do you think it's possible for a female to really engage in any type of sexual encounters with a guy and just not have feelings at all?
There's a lot that's like that, and
yes,
some happened early on, or something happened where they just disconnected and they never connected the light bulb back in when it comes to that. I mean, because when a woman is like that, honestly, a guy, how can you connect to that? I ran into females that were like that, and it was weird because it was like you thinking that you're gonna have this, they're gonna have all these emotions afterwards, and they were just like a guy. Like we was.
Right, it was just like, oh, what's up?
Very nonchalant.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I wanted to bring that up. I'm glad thank you for being honest about that, because a lot of guys will, or guys that I've kind of run into or just had passing conversations with, will think that, I guess women, they feel as though we're these delicate creatures that can't detach in that way. You know what I mean? Or whatever. And I know.
Well, strippers do the same thing too. They got to detach. Strippers, prostitutes, streetwalkers, call girls.
Getting candid.
Hoes.
Oh my gosh.
Jickaboos. My favorite from Ray? Johnny Girl.
I cannot right now.
I'm just saying. You could be a Johnny Girl. Yeah, it could be a Johnny Girl.
Oh. Johnny Girl.
Johnny Girl. Remember he said, run out and give me a Johnny Girl?
Yeah, I can't. He did say that.
But no, listen,
what made you think of that?
It just came. I always keep that in mind. I'm always thinking like, what type of female it is.
Yeah. So, you're right though. I mean, so I just wanted to bring that up because thank you for being truthful about that, because there are a lot of females out here that
the confusion
can
on the female. Listen, the confusion. We talked about the male side. The confusion on the female side, I feel that's, and correct me if I'm wrong, is that some females feel that in order to get a guy, they gotta let loose. Some do. No, not some. A lot.
No,
it's a lot. It's a lot. Listen, the good girls are 40%, 30%.
You think so?
Absolutely. Absolutely. Listen. Absolutely.
I don't know. It's a saying out here that hoes be winning.
You know what? They really
hate when people say that.
The hoes are not really winning.
I hate that.
They're not really winning.
They're not.
They're
Thank you for that, because they're not. And it's like they're really not. And that's just the perception that, again, I think media and people like to drive out there, but that's not true.
The term, you know what? A lot of terms of people like that you're referring to is people saying, "Oh, she got married." But see, the key is not getting married. The key is being happily married. And I know you can attest to that, right?
Absolutely.
You wasn't like, "Oh, I just got to get married." You like, my goal is to be happily married, right?
Yeah, my goal was to be with somebody that was really for me, that I can have a connection with, and I wasn't going to be married until I could really do that and experience that. Someone who could be more than a spouse, but more of a friend. You know what I mean? So. I think what's important to highlight here too is that, a lot of times I've encountered this too with guys that they feel as though once you get married, they were like, oh, they change, or stuff changes.
No, it does change.
That's not true.
We get ready to jump into this. Let me sum my perspective up. Single sex is a very selfish sexual activity. It's very selfish. You're focused on what you want. That person's focused on they want. Everybody's about to get theirs, right? Now, as I dive into this couple sex thing, the couple sex means that for me, I could be vulnerable, share what I like remember we always talk about this word, the free, the whatever my endeavors or whatever I like to dive into, whatever things extra I like to do.
Sure.
It's safe to share that with this person. And if I know it's safe to share with her, we can tap into different things. Like she can share her inhibitions with me. I can share my inhibitions with her. We can try and do different things. And I know that after we're done, there's some type of connection or feeling afterwards.
Right. You talking about with what? Marriage?
Couples. No, couples.
Couples. Right.
I'm not
couples.
married. I'm just saying in the relationships I've been in, these are the things that I've experienced.
Okay. Right.
So I like that, the wholesomeness. And even though, and the funny thing is this. In both experiences, I was not able to experience what I experienced in a couple's sex, what I experienced in a single sex, because you're only going to do but so much in single sex that you're not gonna do with couple sex. It's like something that comes with it. It's like I don't know how to describe it. It's like I could do certain things in the single sex, maybe we would be good, but then after a while, if it's so casual, it's like, nah, I'm not gonna go so far. But then the relationship or the couple sex, I'm willing to shake the walls. I'm ready to rip the wallpaper out. I'm ready to.
I know, because I think it's important to highlight with, like, you know, the couple sex and stuff like that, you know, being reinventive and keeping things creative and fun is important. Like, I think that's probably why you even give that extra effort.
That's true.
You know what I mean? Because it is. You got to definitely keep it fun and creative. And, you know, I think that it's not like, I want to get rid of this whole stigma of.
What's the stigma?
But when you get married or when you get in this committed relationship, that you cannot, you know, experience some of the same acts that you would as if you were, you know what I'm saying, single, you know, in the romance department.
Well, tell me what you exactly talking about, because I feel like this is a very vague. I feel like you're going vague.
I'm very vague.
Listen, we're fucking live. I want to know exactly what you're talking about. Be specific. I've been very candid and transparent.
Sir, knock it off.
I just want to know what you're talking about. What are you talking about? Are you saying something with your toes? What are you talking about?
No, I'm just saying that you know, me and my husband, we keep things creative, you know, and we keep
creative like how? Like, what are you talking about? We want to know what creative looks like.
Yeah, well, creative looks just like, you know, doing what it is you gotta do. Don't make me bring up my naughty talk again.
Listen, bring up your naughty talk.
Don't make me do that,
listen,
Ryan.
Bring
live.
This up.
This is our first. I need to be on my best behavior. This is our first lie. I don't want people to think I'm raunchy and ratchet.
If we want people to listen to this, they want to hear raunchy and ratchet. You see, they watching ratchet TV. So
I know, that's so true.
Let them into this.
No, I'm just saying. Listen, you gotta know the different spots to touch each other. How we have outlined in the book, you know what I mean, or whatever, like, just to keep things creative, interesting, and fun. You know, once you build that, it's important to build that intimacy first, because you don't need to be, I mean, I feel as though it's better and everything is enhanced once you create that connection first. It just intensifies everything from there. It
does.
It really does. I mean, it can be on fire.
And no, I agree with that. I agree with that. I'm just looking back at just different scenarios that I've been in. And hands down, I mean, like I said, single sex was way more selfish, way more. You know what? The funny thing is, like, I feel like the reason why I feel like we touched on this, and how the book plays a part in it, is that men pretty much learn how to have sex either from, you know, their peers, or they talked about it from porn.
I mean, that's true. You know what I mean?
There's not a how to make love video out. Like,
I mean, but I think we're not even talking about that.
You can't make love to someone if you're single. You have to be in some type of couple relationship so that way you're vulnerable to have some type of making love. So it's,
and really I think that's our point here. Like, you know what I mean?
So if you're out there just screwing, you gotta try the other side.
You do. You have to try the other side. And I mean, after a while, I'm gonna be honest with you, Ryan. Like, everything that does not have a certain level of substance has its expiration tag. I'll be honest with you.
But a person got to be ready for that, though.
That was a little setup of pillow talk.
Yeah, that person got to be ready for that.
You do. You do have to be ready, but you definitely have to be ready. Right? I don't want you to try to experience anything prematurely, but it has its expiration tag. So you just have to be real about to yourself when that has come up for you, I believe.
Right. So I know people like, all right, listen, I hear y'all talking. Here's tell me about an experience that you had when you were single that made you feel like, all right, you know what? I can't do this no more. I can't do this no more. Like, I had to change things out. Was it a guy before your husband that was like...
I have no memory before my husband. Why would you set me up like this?
What I'm saying is that I'm just trying to understand, because you're married. I want to go back.
I have no memory.
Right. But
no memory before my husband. Okay. All right. If I have to, let me try to, kind of see if I can tap back that far.
Come on. Tap to us.
Okay, no. All right. Here it is. All right. So you're right. I mean, I think what made me decide that enough is enough is just the inconsistency. You know what I mean? Of you get tired of trying to figure out how far you should put yourself out there.
Okay.
You know what I mean, or whatever. And
from a vulnerable standpoint.
From a vulnerable standpoint, but also like you're like, why am I doing this? You be like, eventually you're like, I would like to be able to build something or come home to someone consistent. Because you get tired of going out or you know what I'm saying, you meet people and it's fun in a moment, but you get kind of tired of that.
So you're saying the fun. So you're saying you're tired of the fun being temporary fun.
Yeah, just the temporary fun of, you know what I mean, and then the inconsistent pattern of like kind of really being able to share certain things with a person. You know what I mean? Like, and you're not really sure, like, dang, you know, such and such took place. You know, I wish I could tell. I don't know if I want to tell, you know, such and such about this, or I don't know, just having to kind of give too much energy to watching what you're saying, what you're doing, you know what I mean, or whatever, like with whomever it is. It may be, you know, your breadcrumb at that time. Going back to podcast 3 on this one. But you know, so those things. How about you? For you?
So for me, it was a couple of things, right? Mm-hmm. Now I enjoyed the going different places. I enjoyed going to different places, you know, going different places and, you know, seeing different people and engaging. And I enjoy being single, like, honestly, like, I really enjoyed the single life. Like, it was, I mean, I'm single now, but I enjoy the fruits of the labor of being single. I'm
sure you do. And
because you got the whole thing, you have options, I could just be free.
Yeah.
Then what happened?
And no strings attached.
No strings attached. What happened is, at one point, I was like, all right, this is getting old. Because I'm gonna tell you what it is. For me, it's like an investment, right? So what happens is you invest in this individual, or you don't invest in this individual. And when you don't invest in it, it seems very empty.
Right.
And if I do invest in this individual, I feel like I wanted to be further than I want some. You got to get some return back.
You know, we know what it feels like. It feels like an apartment.
Oh shit!
It feels like you're just throwing your money away
every month. Real. That's real.
And for real, and versus like a home where you like, okay, I'm building this up. That's exactly what it feels like. That analogy.
I got you.
Like, okay,
that's true. That's true.
You know what? I'm doing
it like that.
Yeah, I'm doing this. I'm enjoying it right now. But it's like, dang.
But you know what? Some guys, some guys really don't even care about that.
That's true.
Some guys are very happy with, I'm gonna come to this empty apartment.
Yeah.
Right? I'm gonna just see what it's like, and then I'm out. You know why? Because I don't want the headache of the relationship or connecting. Or guess what? I'm not comfortable letting go.
Yeah, I think that's probably what it comes down to too. Yeah.
So I would say, I hope you guys enjoy single sex versus couple sex.
Yeah, I think what we finally determined here is that they both have their advantages
and disadvantages.
I think it ultimately determines where you are in life and you being real about where you are. Okay. That's what I would take from this.
For me, I looked at it as single sex as me being more about myself, being selfish. Couple sex, I think, is more about sharing and being more about the other person and making sure that they taken care of and they happy and stuff like that. So yeah, that's my take on it. That's my 2 cents, man. I had to get.
Well, thank you for your 2 cents. All right, so I
want to hear the story. So moving right along.
Yes,
let's
we
jump
have
into the
our story here from Miss Aimee, who was written in from Atlanta.
Okay.
And again, the title is Finding Nemo. So
Finding Nemo.
I think I like this story because I think it's really relatable, actually, to a lot of people. Okay.
I think I'm gonna have a sip of my sponsor's beverage.
Oh, we have sponsors now. Shout out to our sponsors. All right, so here we go. This is from Aimee. I'm a 29-year-old female. I had a long-term college boyfriend of 5 years, which ended because he was not as ambitious as I wanted. I have always been, for the most part, focused and motivated to learn and experience new things, and he not so much that type of person. Since then, I have been single for 4 years. I online dated on almost every site and found nothing serious. I finally met a guy last year in September that completely swept me off my feet, and I couldn't believe a person like him was out there. The relationship was by no means perfect, but we were both invested in each other. The relationship ended about 4 months ago because he told me that he will never want children, which is something I will want in the future. So my question for Lex and Ryan is, why is it so hard for me to meet a smart, decent looking, ambitious, fun person in real life as opposed to online? Because clearly that's not working for me when all of my friends have. I go out a lot. I'm not a shy person, and I like to try things. So it's not that I'm, not putting myself out there. Very, 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 very real here.
I understand the whole Finding Nemo thing, because it's like she had a guy that gave her everything that she wanted, but he was missing this. But then she's used to having these guys that don't have it, and she's looking for this, I guess, particular thing.
Yeah. So, I mean, this one is tough because this is this is a lot of everyone out here really trying to find, someone to connect with, and that's smart, that's she said it's ambitious, and she said she's done all the online dating sites, and I know I'm not trying to put you out there, but I know you said
I've been on it. I've been on a lot of dating sites.
And so you said it was hard too. I mean, kind of.
I didn't say it was hard for me,
sir.
I just
you
said it
was difficult to kind of shift through.
I'm gonna say this. It wasn't. Let me say this. It wasn't hard, right? Mm-hmm. I think what it was it was a challenge trying to find the Nemo. Right. That's the. It wasn't hard. It was the challenge of finding the Nemo. Okay. And the Nemo was that you were trying to find someone with that right balance. Okay. She said she had someone that had this and all this, but he was missing this. Right. He wasn't ambitious. Then she had somebody that was ambitious that wasn't doing this. So I think for me that was the issue.
But you know what? I think a lot of times that's what ends up happening too when people are out here dating. I want to say that to Aimee, that I think sometimes what we tend to do is, and I'm not sure the ins and outs of the particular relationship that you had, but sometimes what we do is, because certain characteristics are prevalent in our partner, we feel as though they're not present, and that's not true. You know what I mean, or whatever. Right. And sometimes they just need to connect with the right person to help make those things prevalent. And I think I just want to make sure that sometimes when people are out here dating, that they don't give up on something, prematurely without considering that. Now, with that being said, sometimes, sometimes a person's just not for you. And so I think being able to really come to terms with that and be real. And it seems like she was like, he's cool and everything, but he's just not ambitious. You know what I mean? Or just not.
You know what? And I think that's something that comes from like a childhood and you're raised like that, because honestly, I've been ambitious all my life. Right? And I'm talking about from an early age. No, seriously. And I'm not even trying to put this about me. I'm just saying, like, some things people are born with, and some things people just not born with.
That's true.
Now, you can learn to be more ambitious, but some things are just born in you. Like,
some things are innate.
Some people, it's just a drive. Like, you go through them, and that's just what it is. And some things, like, a situation changes that makes you like that. Mm-hmm. Now, going to this story, I think that she got to make a determination, right? And sometimes when
she made a determination.
Well, I'm saying I guess she made a determination. I'm saying now she's back into a situation where she's searching again. She's trying to find Nemo, right? So the thing is, she's finding guys that have everything she wants but don't have this ambition, and then she's finding the other side. So the goal is, I guess, how does she affect that person? Because the biggest thing for me is this. We talked about single sex and couple sex.
Right.
But then when you take it outside of sex, the whole thing is that whoever you meet and whoever you come upon, honestly, to me, either they're going to give you something positive or they're going to give you something negative. That's one of the things I look at. Like, what does this person value bring to the table? Am I happy with them? Are they bringing me positive energy, or are they bringing me negative energy? If they bring me negative energy, I really can't help them be ambitious. But if they're positive, I can help. So I'm saying I've helped people become more ambitious,
right?
Through positivity.
Absolutely. So that's what I mean. So you kind of taken that approach, based upon your ability to filter through whether or not this person has certain things, it's just not prevalent. You know what I mean, or whatever. They just need maybe to kind of push, or like, you know what, I see it in you, like, bring it out.
Yeah. But you gotta have it. It does have expiration. You can't be 10 years like.
No, absolutely, and I agree. You have to be really discerning with this one.
Yeah, you really have to see.
You can't be hanging in there.
Like, I know you got
forever.
it. Yeah, I know you got it in you. You just got to do it, and it's like you got to. You know what? Push might be the wrong word. I think it's plant seeds and water it. Right? Because pushing can kind of irritate or make an issue. But if you plant the seed and water it, I think that's more healthier than just doing a push thing. Because now I've done both. I've been a pusher. Like, you can do it, you can do it, and then you get resistance back. Yeah. But when I planted seeds and watered it, it had a better result.
Yeah, and that's so key. I think that, Aimee, it's unfortunate because, it's just really difficult, sometimes to find that quality connection. And I think it's different for everyone, in all honesty. Being able to kind of encounter that person. I think that as long as you are kind of availing yourself and keep putting yourself out there to really be able to make an authentic connection, you're definitely going to be able to do that when the time is right. I definitely just want you to make sure while you are dating, you're not overlooking, certain things in a person. Deal breakers are deal breakers. So this person that didn't want to have kids, that's a deal breaker for you, and that's completely fine.
Now, before you finish up your thought, let me say this about this having kid thing, right? Sometimes a man has to have himself in a certain place to be ready to have kids.
Okay.
And I don't know why it's like that with us, but we really put a lot of weight on being in a certain place before we actually get ready to have these kids.
Okay, that's understandable.
So sometimes a person can say, I'm not ready to have children right now, because her needs sound like she was ready to, she's like, I'm ready to have kids right now. So if you're saying you want to have kids in the near right now to the near next 1 or 2 years, if he wasn't in that position, he's gonna say, no, I don't want to have kids. He's not gonna say, I want to have kids right now. He's literally just gonna say, I don't want to have kids.
And that's okay. Well, yeah.
I think honestly, every man is gonna want to have another seed to walk around, because
that's not true, Ryan.
Well, no, I'm saying majority. Let me say majority. Majority of the guys out here want to have a seed running around. Like, they want to have somebody to leave their legacy to. If not, I mean, I haven't met too many men that were like that. Maybe very few, but I'm just saying, like, they typically want to have somebody to run behind to say, this is, I'm leaving my legacy to them.
I think that's a gamble for women. Like, I hear you. I think that's a gamble for women to, if a guy's essentially saying, because I feel as though they will be clear though.
I was saying that. I was saying literally, I didn't. Literally, before I had my own son, I literally was saying I didn't want no kids. I mean, I wanted children, but I didn't want any right now.
Right, but see, you may be able to make that distinction a little more clear. Some people, don't do that, and if a guy is telling a woman that he doesn't want this, are you guys always saying that we should take you at face value and not really kind of put any add-ons there? Because that's not fair. You know what I mean? So if he's not able to communicate that or make the distinction that I don't want kids, period, versus I don't want kids right now, I'm going to take you at face value. If you say you don't want kids, okay, I'm moving on. If I want kids,
right, I got you.
So I think that is so I agree with her and I commend her for kind of moving it on, even though she was really into this guy, because it's hard out here, and she could have been like, well, he may change his mind, but she was like, no, this is something I know I want. So if he's saying no, he's saying no. I wanted to ask you also to kind of just clear this up for Aimee. I wanted to get your perspective on whether or not, I see in here she wrote that she goes out a lot.
Okay.
So I don't know, some guys have this thing about women who go out a lot or whatever. So if she's posting and she's out somewhere on her social media, like Instagram, Facebook, wherever, does that just kind of make a guy become a little more discouraged if they see that she's kind of maybe out and about a lot, or Now, if she's in the club all the time, that's a red flag. Now, if she's out to eat like at a bar or a lounge,
well, she said, I mean, that's kind of similar
to a date party.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Like, if she's, I know she got to be able to do something else. Because my thing is, if I was to meet this person, and all they would have pictures of is going out, going to the parties, I'm really like, yo, what else do you do?
Okay, so what if she doesn't have just pictures of that, but like she has some like little family pictures in between there, but she does go out, like she has a healthy social life? Or even if you start dating this person and she's like, well, I'm about to go, me and my girlfriends have plans to go to this day party or go into a lounge. Why is that? Guys, I've seen a lot of guys feel as though this person goes out a lot.
It's a balance. Mm-hmm. It depends. When I meet her, if literally every day, it depends on how many days she's. If she's going out literally every weekend, maybe she's just trying to occupy her time. There's some people that just don't want to sit still.
Right.
Now, if she's out in the clubs every weekend, it depends on how old she is.
Okay.
If she's, in her 20s, I'm expecting that. Like, that's just what it is.
It's the nature
if
of
she's
the
in her
beast.
30s, I'm gonna start saying what's going on. Like,
Why?
Like,
you're like, well,
yeah, you don't have Netflix, or you don't have like.
See, no, why?
Well, I'm saying at 30, like, if you still in the club at 30, that's like you pass your prime. Like,
but see, in whose eyes? And I'm just being devil's advocate here. But in whose eyes? Like, so if she want to go out,
I didn't say she could. So let me give you the spectrum of how I look at it. In your 20s, you really trying to just find somebody to occupy your time, just a companion. You want to hang out. You want to find a guy you want to have fun with, right? It gets a little serious when you turn 30. When you turn 30, you start thinking, my time clock ticking, I need to get married. So you really want to be engaged in something. You want to be about something. Like in 30s? In your 30s,
see, that is society's pressure, right?
No, that's not even society's pressure. That's just life in general. Like, if you're literally still partying the same damn way you was in your 20s, you know what I'm going to say? You didn't damn evolve. You got to evolve.
I mean, you do have to evolve, but you know what? Guess what? People evolve at their own pace. And I don't want to say that, and I'm just highlighting because this is how society has us conditioned, and you too, clearly, over there, talking about some, if you want to be engaged by this such age, you got to do this.
No, you know what? I'm going to tell you what it is.
True.
Listen, I started off going to the clubs in college. I got tired of
about that one.
Yeah, listen, I got tired of going to the same damn clubs or switching clubs. When I got in my 30s, I was like, all right, I've been going out for 10 something years to the clubs. What's different? I need to do something different. So here's what I would like to see. To your story, if she's going out all the time to the club, that should evolve to traveling. That's that would be an attraction to a guy. Like, damn, she went from hanging out in the club all the time. Now she's traveling and she's going different places. All right, you know what? That's the evolution. But if she's clubbing in 20s and then clubbing in 30s, yeah, I'm like, finish doing what you're doing. I don't know what you got going on. Like, you seem like you haven't evolved. You still in the club.
Still kind of club.
Okay. You're still trying to
I
be
can get
the
that
highlight of the
perspective
party.
if that's how you see it. From a male's perspective, I get that. Okay, so the traveling piece, down with it. So even if she evolves from going to the club to like a bar or a lounge.
Yeah, it's just like I don't know. It's just like a different situation. Like it's the bar is no different than the club.
Okay, that's the distinction. That's what I was trying to hear.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
Okay.
You're just really not dancing. That's
what I was trying to hear.
The club, you dance, and the bar, you just sitting down. So now,
y'all view those along the same lines, the club and the bar.
Yeah, she need to be traveling, or she need to be doing something in the lines of what her career is, or something. She got to be doing something. What's the interest of it? If she's just hanging on the club, it's no interest.
Well, I mean, I don't know if she's hanging on the club, but
I necessarily don't like club pictures. Like when we talked about dating profiles online, like the dating profile.
You're saying
club pictures is
you don't like club pictures, and you wouldn't like bar pictures either. No, because you're associating both.
Stamp your damn passport. That's what I'm press me with that. I don't want to see that. I want to see you at this club, this party, day party. Like, leave the area.
Right.
Get a flight. Stay home. Stop. Because they gotta spend money on outfits. It's just one of those things. Like, you gotta do something different.
So so let's say she not traveling because she in school. What other type of pictures would you want to see to help you solidify the fact that she's not out there all the time?
Maybe she volunteering, doing something.
Okay.
She's
I'm just trying to help her out.
Helping out. You know what I mean, in the community. Maybe she's like I said, engaging in the community. She's doing some activity. Maybe she's with her family. Okay. Just showing like family, community.
Church photos.
Church photos. I don't know how many church photos she's getting, but church photos.
Like Easter outfits and stuff.
That she's doing things out and about. Like she's athletic. She's hiking, biking.
Right. Okay. Something. Just doing other type of things.
Yeah. Those things that let me see that she's well rounded. Versus if I literally just see club pictures, that's it. Like you said, I'm turned off.
You turned off.
I'm turned off. That's a turn off.
All right. So, hopefully that was helpful for Aimee.
Aimee, if you don't get out the clubs, I'm being turned.
She's not in the club.
The hell off.
That's not what it says here.
Well, I'm just letting you know, Aimee, if you're in the clubs all the time, I'm turned off.
Right. Yeah. So, I'm pretty sure she's going to encounter that guy, because she's staying true and, staying her course, which is most important. Stay true and don't minimize who you are, hoping to get a maximum connection. So I'm glad that you're staying true to who you are. All right.
I know that we're gonna end things on this pillow talk. Tell me, what's the pillow talk for today?
That is a great question, Ryan. So the pillow talk for today. Wind things on down here. A little reflection. So, loving someone is a decision, guys. Contrary to popular belief, it is a decision. Choosing to love someone is actually one of the most beautiful things about love, because real love is unconditional commitment to an imperfect person.
That was a hell of a pillow talk. Like I'm fairly impressed. Like I think
that rounded off the single sex, couple sex.
Yeah, that was we dove into a lot. That was real serious. So
yeah,
here's all I want to say to kind of wrap up our podcast today. Anybody that sees this podcast after we do this live broadcast, feel free to leave your comments. We're always open to receiving them.
Absolutely. And
Facebook inbox, your DM. They can reach you at
Ask Lex Harris is my handle. That's my IG, Facebook,
and I'm Ryan Whitfield. So you can actually reach me on any of the handles, whether it's Twitter, Instagram. But we definitely want you to go to Intimacy Uncovered. And right now, before we leave, we want to make sure you guys know that go get your pre-release copy of the book.
Absolutely.
Intimacy Uncovered. It comes out soon.
Yes, discounted prices.
Yep, it's at a discounted price. So go to Amazon. Make sure you grab it. It's going to be an amazing book. And I told people it's not just a book. It's a visual dialogue.
Sure.
And people are like, what the hell you mean visual dialogue? It's
right.
really like a visual conversation. It's us sitting here like with you and really having these deep conversations.
That's right. And it's like you said, with the visuals too, with very, very vivid photos in there.
And if you've been following us on our Instagram page, and if you've been following each one of our individual pages on Facebook and on Instagram, you'll see all of the imagery we've been posting, just showing you scenes, very provocative. It's a lot of imagery that kind of like makes you tap into like things that you may not see on a normal basis. I mean, everybody talks about love, right? But a lot of people don't talk about intimacy.
Right, exactly.
So we kind of like really chime in.
And we get detailed on how to create these moments. That's what that vividness is about.
The vividness is about. So
is that a word? I don't know. I just created it.
So we want you guys to stay connected with us. To all our followers, we jumped on Periscope. We on Facebook Live.
Oh, we appreciate you guys tuning in.
Yeah. So we're gonna be broadcasting again. So make sure that you guys stay
connected.
Stay connected.
You've been listening to the Intimacy Uncovered podcast. You can win a pre-released copy of the Intimacy Uncovered book. Go sign up now at intimacyuncovered.com.